Alright, this is match 1 with Elves. We're on the play, which is nice. Uh, this hand is interesting. We don't play very many lands, and we have some turn 1 plays. I think I'll keep it, and hopefully we can draw something like Lead the Stampede to get more gas into our hand. We're gonna start with Llanowar Elf, and then we can play Heritage Druids next turn. We can draw a spell, we can play it with the Heritage Druid ability. Opponent with the Bloodstained Mire, Steam Vents, blue Delver of Secrets. Okay, so like a blue-red Delver list, maybe Grixis. Hopefully we just don't draw lands, that'd be nice. Okay, well, we already have a third of our lands. I'm going to attack here. If he wants to block, go ahead. Well, this hand does not have a lot of gas at all, actually, and we're really hoping to draw Lead the Stampede here. He flips the Delver on the blind, revealing Serum Visions, which obviously Delver always flips. Opponent is going to red. Bolt the Llanowar Elf. Pass the turn. He kept a 1-land hand, which is interesting. We'll attack with our Heritage Druids and play Elvish Mystic. Wasn't a land, so can't complain too much, but hopefully we get some bigger stuff. Opponent found his second land. Untapped Watery Grave. So it is a Grixis Delver list. Black and a red. Young Pyromancer would be pretty bad. We're going to have to draw something to get through it. Our opponent is playing something. Collective Brutality. He looks at the hand and he sees a whole lot of nothing. He's attacking. We really need to draw more stuff. We're going to race. Elvish Visionary isn't a bad draw. That is not an ideal draw. Well, we're not playing very many lands at all. I think there's only 16 in the deck, so it's rather obnoxious to be drawn 6 of them already. The deck functions on 1 or 2 with the Mana Dorks. I guess since he didn't let either of our Mana Dorks live, it's not that big video that we drew more lands, but we drew a lot more than we wanted. Sorcery Speed Terminate on the Elvish Visionary. Don't really know why he did that. Our opponent is running out of cards too, hopefully. But a Lightning Bolt would be... Yeah, if he just has Lightning Bolt and Snapcaster, then we're going to be in some trouble. I think this against this deck will bring in Path to Exile, because I'm almost sure he's playing Young Pyromancer. I also think that we can race them pretty well if we draw more creatures. Wow. That's a lot of lands. Black, black, red. In the draw phase. Kolaghan's Command. But we can't block the Delver regardless, so we're going to attack. We drew so many lands. We drew double the number. We drew 7 lands to our opponent's 3. Which is just way too many. Yeah, there's Lightning Bolt number 2. That's frustrating. Yeah, we play 17 lands. We drew 7. Didn't miss a land drop. That should not happen. That was an unlucky game for sure. I think that first keep was maybe a little questionable, considering we just had 3 1-minute elves and nothing else, 4 lands. But the odds of us drawing just straight spells for the rest of the game were pretty high, and I think if we had did that, we would have had a much better chance of winning. His deck is really fast. I want to have some removal to slow him down. We can race. We have a Zuri that can really just put out a bunch of damage really quickly. He's not going to have board wipes, but he has a lot of targeted removal. I don't think he'll bring in something like Pyroclasm because of his creatures would die to them. I think I want to bring in 2 Path Degiles, and I think that's enough. So maybe Scavenging News for the Snapcaster mages, but I think I just want to have Path for the early Delver, just to slow him down a little bit. Alright, we're going to keep this hand. Hopefully we'll draw a 3rd land. I think that if he doesn't have removal immediately, then this is really good. And hopefully he'll let our Devoted Druid live so that we can use it to get some mana. Otherwise we'll draw a 3rd land and then it'll be fine. We can lead the Stampede and then play everything in our deck for the most part. So as long as he doesn't have a quick turn 1 Delver again, we should be fine. Our opponent is thinking about mulliganing to 6. He's mulliganing to 6. Now he's saying mulliganing to 5. Keep. And he's scrying, puts the card on bottom. That's nice. Play land. Pass the turn. No Delver, please. I would much rather he Thoughtseized or Inquisitioned if he had it, but he doesn't have anything to do, which is nice. Nettle Sentinel, that could be good. We're going to go for Devoted Druid. I'm almost sure he's going to remove it, but just got to play our stuff out. So hopefully something will stick eventually. Tap Steam Vents. Maybe he does. Maybe he won't remove it. It'd be a big tempo play if next turn he didn't play anything and then just used his turn to remove my creature. Untapped land. This might be the Young Pyromancer. Nope. Okay. He paid for that to be untapped. Not sure why. He's Zuri, Renegade Leader. That'll be good later, hopefully. We'll play the Devoted Druid. I just think that if we play the Nettle Sentinel, even if he doesn't remove it, it doesn't really do anything. We really want to use this to lead the Stampede next turn, in case we don't draw the 3rd land. He milled 2 lands, which is unfortunate. He's hitting all his land drops, so he wants to get rid of as many of those as he can. Fatal Push. We got the 3rd land. He might have something like Remand or Mana Leak. I think just plain lead the Stampede is the right play. We have the mana to cast almost any spell in our deck. Ooh, 4 creatures. That was a good card. See, sometimes Lead the Stampede can be better than Collected Company. We wouldn't be able to cast Collected Company this turn, and we'd only get 2 creatures off of it. This, we're going to have to discard. I think we're going to discard the 2nd Azuri. And then next turn we can play a couple things. We could go like Nettle Sentinel into Dwennan's Elite, just to start getting some damage on the board. And if he wants to use target removal on those, that's fine. Play Nettle Charge Druid to get more damage. Drawing Lead the Stampede is really good against decks that just use lots of targeted removal like this. And when they don't have a clock, we have all the time in the world to cast them. He's cracking. Maybe he's playing Cryptic Command? That would be interesting because it's so expensive, but no, he doesn't have that. If we cast this and he removes an Elf Sentinel, we don't get the 1/1. I think I'm gonna cast Devoted Druid. And see what he decides to do. Maybe his hand is just all removal and he removes both of them, which isn't the end of the world. There goes the Nettle Sentinel. Devoted Druid is still alive. He drew another land. I think 5 lands for him is a lot. Looks like he's getting flooded like we did last game. So now I can play Elvish Archdruid. And then we'll cast the Dwinnen's Elite. I think if he had removal, he would have used it on the Devoted Druid last turn. It seems to be what he'd been using as removal as much as he could. I think that if you choose between Nettle Sentinel and Devoted Druid, you only have the one. I think he should have removed the Devoted Druid. Nettle Sentinel is only really strong if you have the Heritage Druid out. We have a pretty good board now. If he removes the Elvish Archdruid, that removes a lot of power off the board, but we have a second one. This is still on our end step. Is it Static Caster? Okay. That's fine. Elvish Archdruid turns that off for the most part. I think that if we can resolve the second Elvish Archdruid, we'll be good. Okay, he has the Terminate. We only have one. Our board is fairly resilient to Is it Static Caster? It is pretty good against our deck, but it's not that good. It's not like a token strategy where we're relying on cards with the same name. Go for Elvish Archdruid. He only has 1 card in hand. Hopefully it's not a counterspell. Okay, so he'll remove that. And we can get in for some damage. Is it Static Caster is... It's a pretty good card, but I'm not super worried about it. Even if he does find removal for Elvish Archdruid, we have 2 more Lead the Stampedes. If we untap with Elvish Archdruid, we'll have a lot of mana to use. Black. Might be going for the Delve for a Gurmag Angler. Tasigur. That's pretty good. If he uses it to mill, we have to give him a card back, and he has a lot of removal. So hopefully he mills something like Thought Scour or Serum Visions. That's fine. Well, yeah, we don't really want to get him any removal spell. We'll give him Serum Visions. He can't cast it this turn anyway. Heritage Druid, the draw. We could play Heritage Druid and Izuri and then Court of Calling for a pretty big thing, because we can Elvish Archdruid, we'll be able to tap for 5 mana. We can Court for anything, so I think we'll do that. On their end step, we can Court for another Elvish Archdruid, or if maybe they draw Collected Brutality and try to -2/-2. The Is it Static Caster would still kill it, so maybe not. Hopefully they don't draw removal spell, and then next turn we can attack with all our elves for a lot of damage. Thanks to Elvish Archdruid and Izuri. And if he has to spend 4 of his 6 mana for the Tasigur activation, then that's fine. 3 mana. Another Is it Static Caster would be a little scary. Engineered Explosives on 3. Okay. Well, we can regenerate our Elvish Archdruid. Izuri will die. And is it static caster will die. If we tap for 5 mana now, we can Chord of Calling for 5, which we don't need to do that. If we let Izuri die, we can tap this for 4. These two add 2 more mana to Chord, and Chord for 3, getting another Izuri, and then we can just win. Oh, it taps when it regenerates. Oh, weird. Okay. Huh. I forgot about that little part of the card. This is 5 creatures. So I don't think that his deck has a way to deal with the Westvale Abbey token. So we could Nettle Sentinel and use Elvish Archdruid to activate this, get in for 9, and they have to draw a removal for it, and we have double Lead the Stampede as backup. Make some mana. Lead the Stampede to refill our hand. These are some good Lead the Stampedes. So now we can play an Elvish Mystic. I'm not really afraid of him having a Wrath effect. I think that all of his removal is targeted, so should be able to put a bunch of bodies on the board without much fear, other than the engineered explosives. I think that we'll play maybe the Heritage Druid, and then we can activate Elvish Archdruid for the mana to get Westvale Abbey token. We'll make some mana just in case. We want to sacrifice a Heritage Druid, Elvish Mystic, Nettle Sentinel, Dwynen's Elite, and I guess the other Heritage Druid. And then we can play the third Lead the Stampede. To get more creatures. And then we'll play some more dudes that make mana. Go to combat. Attack with our Profane Prince. Flying, Indestructible, Lifelink, Haste. Pretty good. This is a really good win condition for this deck. I wouldn't hate playing 2. A 17 land's a little iffy. Looks like it was our opponent's turn to flood a bit, but we were able to get a lot of value off of our Lead the Stampedes. Indestructible against the Grixis deck, very good. And we won game 2. So go to the sideboard. He has Tassiger. I wouldn't be surprised if he had Gurmag Angler 2. He has that Static Caster, so we really want to be able to remove that. I could see cutting maybe a Heritage Druid for a third path. We really don't want to bog our deck down too much. It has a really good game plan that has the potential of popping off very well and just being far too much for the Staticaster to handle. Like that turn, like that game, we didn't even need the path. How about on the draw? I think I'm gonna cut a Heritage Druid and add a path. Just because we're on the draw, would like to be able to remove that early Delver, or if they have like an early Tasigur or something. His deck can have a pretty fast clock. So this is a hand where usually it's an auto keep. You don't mind being on one land, but I really think maybe if one of these was another 1 mana guy, it would be better. I think we have to mulligan this. I would usually keep this hand, but against his deck, I'm gonna mulligan. No lands. All right, fantastic. And we're not gonna mull below that. We're gonna put that right on top. We will just run out the Nettle Sentinel turn 1. Looks like he might have a Delver of Secrets. That's definitely not what we wanted to see. Him just playing a turn 1 Delver, flipping it early, and then just removing all of our stuff is how we lost game 1. If we get a third land for the Lead the Stampede and we can get some more elves off of it, that'd be a pretty good game plan. Hopefully he doesn't have a way to like scry to flip Delver. Blue and a black. Might be Collective Brutality. Take our Lead the Stampede. And kill Nettle Sentinel. Yeah, that's frustrating. Having to moldify was not ideal. I don't think that 7 was a good keep. We will see how this goes. Dwinnen's Elite. I think we'll just get that out there. Get some attacks in. I haven't seen Death Shadow, so he could be playing it, but I don't think so. Got the flip, Kolaghan's Command. This kind of deck is definitely not the time we want to be playing. They have just a lot of removal. Engineer Explosives on 2, that's fine. But this doesn't look good. I think Path would be good. Slow them down a little bit. Give us some time to draw some more cards. And this is it's a frustrating matchup to play against with a bunch of creatures when they have removal spells for all of them and having to mold to 5. But I think that it's definitely winnable. He has Kolaghan's Command in hand, Engineer Explosives on the board, and he doesn't even need any of it, I bet. His clock is definitely fast. This could be Tasigur or Gurmag Angler. Okay, Kolaghan's Command, discard a card, I guess discard Chord. Well, we can't cast anything in our hand. We can't block the Delver, get in for 2. We really hope to be playing against decks that don't have a lot of removal. We do well against a lot of combo decks. Because we can go faster than a lot of what decks can do. We're much faster than Scape Shift. Play Elvish Archdruid. We could have Court of Calling for 1, but now this way maybe it'll make him pop his Engineering Explosives. Yep. We're going to be going down to 4. There's the young Pyromancer. Dang. I just don't think we have enough time to recoup our board. He had the turn 1 Delver and a million removal spells, which is definitely how this deck wins. Izuri Renegade Leader. Well, we're technically not dead. Maybe we... I don't know. I don't see this working out for us. Hopefully if he has the Lightning Bolt, he just uses it. Okay, he's going to attack. I'm glad I brought in that third path. I think it would have been a really good draw. And that will target... Well, I guess he can... Oh, Collective Brutality, loses 2 life. Yep, okay. That's the game and match. That was frustrating. They had a lot of removal. Turn 1 Delver, game 1 and 3 is definitely what they wanted to see. I think that we had to mold a 5, which was very frustrating, and we were still able to play most of our spells. They made us discard a bunch of stuff. Not a good matchup. Definitely not what we want to see as the Elves deck, but what are you gonna do? I think this matchup is winnable for sure. I don't think it's super bad. Game 2, they really just needed. They don't play a lot of threats, and they really needed these early, and they got the Delver. So we'll go to round 2, and hopefully we'll see something that's a little less interactive like that. All right.